morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Voice of Radio. So today we need to take a look at some cards that have gone and been officially revealed from Black Bolt and White Flare. We got some new cards that have been officially revealed from that set. One that are very interesting, one that look very good, one with which you should be familiar. So let's start off with the big un. It is the special illustration rare of Meloetta EX. And, I mean, look, first of all, it's a special illustration rare. People love special illustration rares. People should love special illustration rares. They are, forgive the pun, a little bit special. And this is one that a lot of people are going to like. Meloetta is pretty popular as far as Pokemon Go. Pokemon Go. But it's also worth pointing out that this is potentially, at least, a very good card. This is one that I have absolutely got my eye on because, you know that whole rule we brought in when Scarlet and Violet came and we were like, hey, no attacking on turn 1 anymore. Yeah, you're not allowed to do that. We don't like that. Stop attacking on turn 1. Well, that doesn't apply to Meloetta now, does it? No, it doesn't. And that's a really interesting thing about Meloetta here. We've got the ability Debut Performance. If you go first, this Pokemon can use attacks during your first turn. And the wording here on the English version of the card actually makes it pretty clear, although we did also learn from the Japanese FAQ that it's not just attacks printed on the card. It is not just echoed voice, we'll get to that in a minute, that can be used turn 1 going first. It is any attack you can use turn 1 going first. And essentially this opens the door to TMs. And the biggest one here for me is TM Evolution. You get to evolve 2 of your bench Pokemon for a single energy. You know, it's a TM, you attach it to any Pokemon, it falls off at the end of your turn, but you get to use 1 energy to evolve 2 of your bench Pokemon. That's a pretty big deal. And we've seen, with this card being in the format, we've actually seen quite a lot where players who play evolution decks will actually choose to go second. The theory is you let your opponent have the first turn, but you then get the first turn where you're allowed to attack, so you use that attack to use TM Evolution, and then you come into turn 2 where your stage 1's already on the field, and then of course if your stage 1s are on your field at the start of your turn, you can evolve them straight away. So turn 1 you use TM Evolution, turn 2 you evolve up normally from just a stage 1 into a stage 2, but it gets you that turn 2, stage 2, without having to muck around with rare candy. But you have to go second in order to pull this off, otherwise you go first, you can't attack, and then on your second turn you can rare candy anyway, but you might not have rare candy, and it becomes a whole thing, alright? So we see players choosing to go second to take advantage of this. Well, Meloetta lets you do the same thing, except you no longer have to go second. You can go first and pull off the same trick. And it's quite a nice trick, I think we can all agree. And that is one of the big things of Meloetta here, essentially having the opportunity to go first and then immediately go and use your TMs and off you go. Now it is worth noting that the main TMs here we're talking about, they were in Paradox Rift, which was year 1 of Scarlet and Violet, which will be hit by the next rotation. When we rotate, when the first big set comes out next year or becomes legal around about March, April time-ish, that is going to get rid of these TMs, I grant you, but we're not there yet. So we're going to have this for a little while. The other one I could see this with is Turbo Energize. You just get to attach 2 basic energy to your bench Pokemon in any way you like. So essentially you whack 1 energy on Meloetta, turn that into 2 energy on your bench Pokemon, and then you're off and rolling. But don't sleep on the fact that Meloetta can just do 30 damage. And I know 30 damage isn't great, but actually we live in a world right now where 30 damage is really not that bad. Obviously, Badoo is just a thing. Badoo is everywhere. A lot of people play Badoo. You'll get that. Cleffa is also a Pokemon seeing a huge amount of play right now. That's got 30 HP, so you'll get that. Joltik seeing a lot of play as a way to accelerate energy in the early game. Not unlike a Meloetta with Turbo Energize, but it's got 30 HP. We actually have a format right now with a significant number of 30 HP Pokemon seeing a significant amount of play, and you add that all up together and you can get some cheeky KOs. And your opponent has to start with a lone 30 HP basic for this to work. If your opponent's got a 30 HP basic and another, they're probably not putting the 30 HP basic in the firing line in the active spot to begin the game. But a lot of decks right now are playing like 10 basics. So a lot of the time, not all the time, but a lot of the time they are only going to start with one. And when they start with one basic and it's a 30 HP basic, oh, you're going to have a good time. But then during your next turn, this Pokemon's Echoed Voice does 80 more. So it's 30 for the first run, first time you use it, but then it turns into 110. Very important to note, it doesn't keep going up by 80. So it's not 30, then 110, then 190, then 270. That would be way better. It would also be broken. It's 30, 110, 110, 110, 110, 110, 110, 110. We've seen this enough to know that is the way this goes. That's also a decent amount of damage. 110 is a nice amount of damage. You'll get a lot of basic Pokemon. You'll get a lot of support Pokemon here. You get a bunch of attacking stage 1s even. Meloetta can either be used for TMs in the early game, or it can be used for taking cheeky prizes, getting good damage on the field. I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, Meloetta's cool. This is a special illustration rare. It's awesome. The other one I've got to show you here, which could see a significant amount of play, is Eelektrik. And older players like myself, players who have been around for 5 minutes, are going to recognize this because it's the old Eelektrik. It is literally the old Eelektrik. And when I say literally the old Eelektrik, I mean it is literally the old Eelektrik. It has got the same name, the same typing, the same HP, the same retreat cost, the same weakness, the exact same attack, and the exact same ability. This is the old Eelektrik. I don't mean this is a spiritual reprint. I don't mean this is very similar. I mean this is the old Eelektrik. It is exactly the same. Same retreat cost, same weakness, same attack with the same name, same ability with the same name, same HP, same typing, same flavor text. And this is one of the ones I was really excited to see in English, because we knew from the Japanese scan, we knew that it had the same flavor text, but I was looking to see if we were going to have word for word identical flavor text over here. They coil around foes and shock them with electricity, generating organs that simply seem to be circular patterns. Don't know about you, ladies and gentlemen, but that looks word for word exactly the same flavor text. The only difference here is the artwork, and then obviously the set number and set symbol. The old Eelektrik is not legal for tournament play. We know this from the FAQ over in Japan. I have told you this previously. We now have the English version of the new Eelektrik to put next to the old one. It's the same card. Can't use it, ladies and gentlemen. Can't use it. Also, I know technically the old one says once during your turn before you attack, you may attach a lightning energy from your discard pile to one of your bench Pokemon, and the new one doesn't say before you attack and adds basic before the lightning energy symbol. They don't mean anything. Obviously, you have to use the ability before you attack, because when you attack, your turn ends. And obviously, it's a basic lightning energy, because there's no special energy in your discard pile that counts as lightning energy. All that special energy only takes on typings when attached. So, they are clarifications, just to make things a little bit easier, but they don't change the way the card works in any way, shape, or form, because that's just how the game works. These are the same card. Boo! I'm genuinely really unhappy about the fact you can't use the old Eelektrik because I don't see any reason for it. And look, this is an uncommon card. It's not going to be expensive and it probably won't be as good as it was last time. That's not the point. I don't see a good reason why we can't use this. And it annoys me that we can't. If you're going to use a new one, however, might I suggest a new Zekrom? Yeah, the only English scan we've got right now is the black and white rare, so let's use that one. Free energy, 130 for each prize card your opponent has taken, and you do 30 to yourself. Basically, Eelektrik will get anything going consistently. So basically, any lightning Pokemon you've got that you want to get rolling, this has got your back. Obviously, we should mention Iron Hands here, because Iron Hands is very greedy for energy. We'll also get hit by the next rotation, but we're not there yet. And, 4 energy amp you very much. Eelektrik is going to make it a lot easier. It's a cool playable card, but the fact that you can't use the old one still drives me absolutely crazy. And the other card we've had revealed is Garbodor. And we don't need to spend much time talking about Garbodor because it's not a very interesting card. Meloetta is an interesting card. Eelektrik is an interesting card. Garbodor is not. What, single energy 40, free energy 120 plus poison? No! They're not interesting. The most interesting thing about Garbodor is, whereas with Eelektrik, Pokemon went, hey, let's reprint the old one, people wanted that with Garbodor. They wanted the Garbotoxin Garbodor, and Pokemon was like, no, you're not getting it. And what I really enjoy, when they tweeted out this card, they even retweeted it with repost to jump scare 2012 to 2016 Pokemon TCG players. They know what they're doing, ladies and gentlemen. They know the impact Garbodor had back in the Gen 5 era, and they are basically acknowledging that this new Garbodor is nowhere near in the same league. But watch out for Meloetta and Eelektrik. These are big cards. So there we go. Brand new card revealed from Black Bolt and White Flare. But I've told you all about them now. So now it's over to you guys. What do you think about these cards? How excited are you for them? Do you think they're going to be making a bit of an impact? Let me know in the comment section. Go nuts! Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi. That's where we talk about Pokemon and a whole bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts, join a Discord, and all kinds of fun things. And get shout-outs on the channel like the lovely Kool-Aid, who's been a supporter of ours for a little while now, one of our newer patrons. So shout-out to them for the support and the loveliness. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.